They took my wife.
This man, who wished not to be identified,
Ain't nobody tell you to vote for that man in his lace front. Now look at you. You ain't even got a wife. This man finna break up all these people families. Meanwhile, I'm over here. I'm gonna take me a little nap because ain't nobody tell you to vote for that man in his lace front. Now that man in his lace front is
Well,
playing in y'all face.
FAFO, who did you vote for? I mean, it's crazy how some people just vote against their self-interest. Your wife was detained and you voted for Trump. Like, how does it even add up? Anyways, what's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by, supporting your girl once again on this channel. So all credit goes to the creators in those videos. Y'all are doing a great job. Amazing. So guys, in today's reaction video,
Really dear friends of my wife and mine, Heather and Rick, their daughter was terminated today. She works for the federal government, and she had worked for the federal government for less than 2 years. And under Doge, they fired everybody with less than two years of experience. That was the first cutoff line. And Heather and Rick both supported Donald Trump. And yet it hurt them today, and it hurt their daughter. And that type of conflict is tough for people to understand and accept. I believe that Michigan needs a leader, maybe not as bombastic as Donald Trump, but who is just as tough, who has just as much grit. Michigan likes to say, hey, we're tough. We are Michigan tough. Our Lions, man, they're gritty. The Red Wings, they're not big, but man, they got a lot of fight. Our Tigers, they were tough down the stretch. And we've all adopted this, how tough are we? Well, you know what? A lot of times tough people aren't that likable. A lot of times tough people make the tough decision that nice people wouldn't make. And at the end of the day, you know, the tough people put their head down on the pillow and go to sleep at night. And they got to wake up the next day and not dwell on the tough decision that they made. They got to make the next tough decision.
Okay, Trump supporters, which is it? Because for months, you guys went on and on about how you're going to vote for the guy who's going to get rid of foreign aid. We're going to keep our money in our country. We're going to take care of our own. And your guy just suspended federal grants and funding for many social programs that the most who are in need rely on. So you've got disability for veterans. You've got breakfast and lunch for students at school who sometimes that's their only meal. We have Title I schools, which are schools that are given extra funding so that those students can get a fair education compared to the demographics of students who attend schools where the majority are above the poverty line. We have the Meals on Wheels program, who's now worried. My grandparents received Meals on Wheels when they were too elderly to be able to go out and grocery shop and cook food for themselves. So please tell me, which is it? Is it let's take care of our own, or is it just a big F you to everybody? Oh, and one last thing. You might come in my comments and be like, well, it's just temporary. They're just trying to figure things out. So tell me, is it okay for kids to just temporarily go without food? Is it? Is it okay for elderly people to just temporarily go without food? Is it okay for veterans who sacrifice their lives and their abled bodies to go without just temporarily?
Well, will you look at that? That federal judge said, bring them 20,000 federal employees back to work. That they were fired unlawfully. That's what that federal judge said. And bring them back immediately. Bring them back ASAP. Back to work. 20,000 federal workers. You know, when you start hiring incompetent people, mediocre people to do jobs that they are not qualified for, aka muskrat and dumpy pants, you get this. You get a mess. You get them as they go and do things and say things and write things and sign things of power that they just don't have. And the federal judge said, not round here, partner. Not round here. That's what that federal judge said. Bringing them 20,000 employees back. one by one, all of these executive orders are being turned back. That's what mediocre looks like. That's what, when you hire somebody who's not qualified to do the job, that's what that looks like. This is what you get. A mess. Congratulations to you 20,000 federal workers on getting your job back.
I don't know if y'all up to date, but what the fuck is going on in the country and the economy right now and all the protests and shit? And listen, I know they made their own bed when they chose the orange man. Fuck around and find out. But I'm not gonna lie, this shit is scary, son. Because a part of me feels like I should be doing more. Like I should be out here being an activist, you know what I'm saying? I should be protesting, you know, and stuff like that. But at the same time, this is what y'all voted for. This is exactly what you voted for. It is not my fault that y'all folks lack critical thinking and reading skills and reading comprehension to understand that you have put yourself in this compromising situation. So as much as I feel like I should and I need to be out here fighting for, you know what I'm saying, for a country that my ancestors built that will never love me back, it's like, you know, I really do want to help. I really do wish there was more that I can do. However, I'll never forget how y'all did that lady, bro. I will never forget how y'all did that lady. She wanted to give us money, and here they are stripping us of our rights. Damn.
I said I wasn't going to do it. I said I wasn't going to talk about the current situation of our nation, the US of A. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I have to, because I have been patiently waiting on my little team to come back so we could go ahead and get started with the locations we're going to be filming. And I had time to see some people talk about how they're surprised of how things are going, how they've lost their jobs as federal workers or as veterans or so forth, and they didn't see it coming. What the hell you mean you didn't see it coming? This man has never not told you who he was. Not one time did he stutter when he spoke. He told you. Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Y'all don't believe fat meat greasy. That's what it is. My mother used to say that a lot. And now I understand what that means, because y'all didn't know that the fat meat that comes off of the bacon that you cook is actually, if it's hot, it's going to splatter and it's going to hit you, or it's going to be greasy on the palms of your hands or the tips of your fingers. Y'all don't believe that. So when you pick it up, it burns you. And that's what's happening right now. So when I hear people say they didn't see it coming, how could you not have? He wears his words on his sleeve and in his disdain for the American people. He is very clear. And not only is he clear, the folks that are around him that have been put into the positions, strategically placed in positions, are clear as well. How could you miss that? There's a lot of things that I would love to say right now about why this man actually got voted in. But we know why. We know why. I talk about it on my morning show. We know why. It had nothing to do with the fact that 34 felonies didn't have nothing to do with it. SA issues, that didn't have nothing to do with it. The fact that he told you that if he got in, that we would never have to vote again, that wasn't enough. The fact that he told you that he was going to tariff the mess out of other countries, that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Oh, okay. Because you didn't pay attention. You weren't paying attention to the things that mattered. You didn't pay attention during the live interviews. You weren't paying attention to those things because you were paying attention to the things that didn't matter. You were paying attention to, she's black, she's not black enough. A woman can't run this country. She doesn't have enough of this, or she doesn't have enough of that. I got one better for you. Why don't y'all run? Why don't I run for presidency? Why don't I do that? Could I do a better job? I don't know. Since anybody can run or buy the presidency. We've been bought, lock, stock, and barrel. We've been purchased. And if y'all don't see that, You crazy. I remember seeing that man get on that stage with Trump, and he raised his hands and he did a jump, and I knew then we were in trouble. I said, Molly, you in danger, girl. Molly is America. Yeah. So how could you not know? How could you miss? And we kept telling, we were warning. So many people were warning you. This is who he is. He didn't bite his tongue not one time. You just were not paying attention to what was important. You didn't pay attention. You didn't look at the numbers. You didn't look at the data. And the data never lies. Numbers don't lie. The facts were in. The facts were in. And I'm not talking about the previous presidency. I'm talking about as a businessman. Go all the way back and take a look for yourself. I don't know how y'all could have missed that. Now here we are, trying to take it back. But still, I always say, we're going to be all right. Just sit still.
Like, this was so properly analyzed. The fact still remains that at the end of the day, everybody is going to be all right. But trust me, the journey is long, okay? Because it's not even 3 months in and a lot has happened. A lot has happened. Not in some people's wildest dreams, even though they told them and they didn't listen. Did they think that all these things that are happening to them will happen to them? Just look at the example that other man gave about the parents that voted against their daughter's self-interest. Okay? Even as at when they were voting, even though, they were told, but they didn't listen, and now that they voted, their daughter was fired. Okay? FAFO. Because every day just seems to be like a new chapter, a new series, a new episode that we are unveiling, and it's unfolding, and it's so exhausting. Like, it's really so exhausting. But at the end of the day, I just hope everything becomes fine, especially for those that did not F around and are finding out, because guys, it can really be a lot. How are you doing in this economy? Let me know in the comment section. I'll see you in my next video. Please don't forget to stay safe. Mental health is important. Ciao.